there is only 2 towers, so the cannons being played would be very good. They would guarantee a tower doesn't land, but there's 2 gates to defend, and while those gate hallways are very long, so it's very easy to figure out which pass they are going through, and even better for cannons to play in there. It's a little weird that we're playing 2 cannons. I'm wondering what LysRoyal is kind of thinking here with the double cannon play. Really no specialty coming out of StoryEnjoyers, Coco's obviously, but nothing else that is striking me as not out of the ordinary. As we go into this first matchup, I'm a little concerned of what LysRoyal has cooking. Well, LysRoyal's cooking here. There is, you know, those 2 cannons might do some great things, but they also might be a little bit of troll. Once again, the game is going to lag quite a bit here as we go in. Also, once again, for those who don't know, we are also live on YouTube. If you want to view this on YouTube, TheFuriousD without the E on YouTube. If you need the link because you can't find it, I will gladly give the link. As we go into our first matchup, immediate rush from StoryEnjoyers down the mid. Does look like LysRoyal will be defending the auxiliary point, this fort point. It does look like we have a iron cap archer pulled, or at least some archer pulled. I don't know where it is. It is Vipers. Of course it's Vipers. Iron cap archers at this stage would be really weird, but you know, it's as StoryEnjoyers is being very fast here, going up the right side of the point. Looks like our first engagement will be coming out here a little bit. Essentially, we will be fighting on the stairs. LysRoyal does meet them on the stairs. Coco's aiming a little bit too far from LysRoyal. They do have StoryEnjoyers as the Coudaliers trying to charge. That wasn't Coudaliers, that was probably Yeoman charging straight through, making a massive hole in LysRoyal's front line as they continue on going straight through LysRoyal. The cannons are played, but it doesn't look like the cannons even got to fire once for LysRoyal, as they just got absolutely steamrolled. StoryEnjoyers steamrolled straight through LysRoyal, and LysRoyal has absolutely no chance of recovering this. They do have the supply block, StoryEnjoyers supply block as well, as they continue on with their momentum straight onto the A point. Again, still losing more and more players. LysRoyal just getting absolutely rolled over. And StoryEnjoyers already getting an auxiliary point, already getting A. The AI Halberd Elite unfortunately not doing anything there. As we're already at home point, and I'm a little concerned what LysRoyal will do here. Unit trade once StoryEnjoyers ahead by 200 units, which is understandable after that first trade. LysRoyal's going to have to do quite a lot here to make up for that trade. There is, you know, they do have the fort's artillery to use here, and they do have a ballista, some cannons, but now all the cav that StoryEnjoyers brought is kind of useless, right? You can't get the cav on the walls. However, the cav can do supply blocking things, as LysRoyal does not have any supply back here besides the one that is out of their spawn. So it will be a little bit interesting for LysRoyal if they do not keep the cav outside of their gates. But again, StoryEnjoyers would have to use their cav to just simply supply block, and they wouldn't really be able to get much value besides supply blocking. Do have some artillery coming out. Maybe this is part of LysRoyal's plan, but I don't know if I would give up my one of my 2 cannon units to do this.
Our artillery is completed.
The damn garrison does go down. LysRoyal loses their damn guy. Oh well. It does look like they are doing some tower denial. It does look like LysRoyal did plan for this, realizing that they didn't want to defend A at all. They have the javelins, they have the culverins to be shooting down these towers, already getting this close tower down to 1 HP. Hopefully nobody shoots it early, and unfortunately it does look like it was not communicated that the close tower here, the right tower, was at 1 HP and it will be destroyed. Now let's see if the far tower will suffer the same fate, down to 1 HP. So let's see how close it gets, and they will destroy it again very early. As you can see by the debris there, the tower didn't really move that far forward, so it's a little confusing, especially with 11 minutes remaining. You know, we've used a lot of our artillery. It looks like our javelins are actually going back as well, losing most of our javelins, losing a lot of our artillery. It's going to be very hard for LysRoyal to be defending this. They still do have a cannon unit remaining, so there is that to look forward to, but once again, these towers might get pretty close here. It looks like StoryEnjoyers is okay with waiting. They do have, you know, 10.5 minutes to be able to break down this area. They do have LysRoyal having the short bow. Looks like we have the arrow rain onto the back 3 culverins. Unfortunately, because the arrow rain is piercing damage, will not break any, but we do have the bastard sword of frost actually breaking all 3 of the culverins. As I go into a little bit of a lag spike there, I might have to restart my game. I have been having more and more lag spikes. Hopefully that doesn't affect the stream. I haven't dropped any frames, so that's okay. Does look like the right battering ram will be breaking. Actually, the right and the left gate have been broken, so we will see if StoryEnjoyers will be going through the gate here as we wait a little bit longer to see how this goes in. I have a little bit of, I think that is Yeoman, that is Dagger Axe there. It's so hard for me to tell from just like these pictures, because like it all looks the same. The Dagger Axe and the Cooliers, I mean the Dagger Axe and the Yeoman. We do have a Rattan climb here from StoryEnjoyers. The Wuxing Pikeman will meet the Rattan climb, so the Wuxing will deal with the Rat climb very easily, no problem whatsoever here. Though it does look like the Wuxing actually do lose out. Unfortunately, a Rattan Pike and Round Shields just doing a little bit too much damage. You know, they get the bleed in. The Wuxing are not being X'd in to do their 2. Looks like we are bringing another Wuxing over to deal with it, but now we are losing 2 Wuxing Pikemen, and we're still struggling to deal with these Rat Pikes. We will get them down now, but we lost 1 unit of Wuxing, and now another is down to 31 models, and probably also fairly low on health, as another Rat climb is happening over here, but the Spartans will meet it and be able to tank it down. It does look like StoryEnjoyers is going through the gate as they go straight to supply, realizing that this is the only way for LysRoyal to get another unit. Also, StoryEnjoyers is really just having the cav, so might as well use your cav on the field. So I do have a gate push. They did have the towers land. LysRoyal no longer having a supply to pull from. Trebuchet on their formation. Hopefully they get out of the direction, but it does look like these stalwarts unfortunately just did not get the memo and will immediately go down to the Treb and the follow-up from StoryEnjoyers. So we go in this, the shoots of danger healing from any damage that did happen there. LysRoyal holding behind the point. Whether the engagement will happen in front or behind. It does look like we are doing a little bit of a split. We're doing a little bit of a split here of how the engagement is. There's a trap on the front of the A point, the home point there. So it does look like StoryEnjoyers sent their weak side to the left, really engaging on that right side behind the point. Does look like the left is falling back as they do wrap around. Their strong side did beat out LysRoyal as StoryEnjoyers goes straight through and is actually going back and ramping. It's going to be very hard for me to be able to see all the things that are going on here. StoryEnjoyers is immediately wrapping around, and LysRoyal down to 6 heroes, just doesn't have anything left on the point. It's going to be very hard for LysRoyal to get back on here. StoryEnjoyers just has the entire point under their control, with LysRoyal down to 3 heroes, dying that first time during that auxiliary point, that forward point. Unfortunately, now we are at the point where they just do not are respawning fast enough to catch back up. They are respawning now, so they will be attempting to get back into the point, but there is really no hope. There was a little bit of spear sergeants on that home point that is stalling. Amazing 2 models of spear sergeants going. Unfortunately, this is a split fight, so I will not be able to zoom in much for you guys to be able to see really what's going on, and it's going to look a little bit laggy here, but that's how we are going. This, we have 4 StoryEnjoyers on the left side defending there, but we only have 3 on the right side. And it looks like LysRoyal is actually barely clawing their way back into this, getting the heroes just on point. The short bow trying to dance does fall off the wall and will die to fall damage there. Unfortunate there from the short bow. Well, down to 3/4 cap. LysRoyal has to get onto this point really quick. They're trying to stall as long as possible. We have a DB on point. A short sword down, gets on the point, pops iron sights, buys them a little bit of time. But if they don't get any units here, as long as you can stall, who cares? No units means you will eventually lose this point, especially with 5.5 minutes remaining. I'll zoom in a little bit closer here because it seems like they are fighting a little bit off the point here. As you can see, LysRoyal just doesn't have the units. They are trying to get as much value as stall as possible here, but they will not be able to hold the point. As we go into this, stats for nerds, amazing by Jamar the Bomber, 199 unit kills, crazy amount. I thought I saw something low, but it wasn't there. Okay, stats for nerds, you know, if you're a nerd, here's your stats. Thumbs up from all of our players. Great showing by StoryEnjoyers winning the first match, really showing that they are still a strong team, even with what happened last week being a little bit probably of a morale killer. Good try by LysRoyal, first match. It just didn't seem like their plan worked as well as they would have liked to. You know, it just it happens, you know.